In this clip, I'm going to talk to you about using the transition editor. So now I'll talk about using the transition editor. This is going to be quite a long discussion because you can get pretty in depth with adding transitions to each other and changing their parameters. So just stick with me and we'll get through it. Now, if you want to make more precise changes to a transition, then you could editing in the timeline. Or if you want to create custom settings for transitions that you use frequently, that's when you would want to use the transition editor. So what does the transition editor allow? Well, it allows you to change the duration of a transition, which we did previously. This is just a couple different ways you can do it. You can adjust the alignment of a transition, which we've also done, but again, there's another way to do it. Trim the edit point between two clips that are adjacent to the transition. And you can also ripple edit each clip to the other side of the transition's edit point. And then adding on to that even further, you can then adjust the percentage of completion of a transition, which I will cover, but each transition has a percentage completion between 0 and 100%. And then you can also reverse the direction of a transition, which is definitely handy. And then the last thing you can do is modify custom settings for a transition. Now, some transitions will have more customizable settings than others. So first, let's go ahead and let's just open up a transition in the editor. So first we need to place one. Let's just place the basic, which is a cross dissolve. So just right click an edit point and click add transition, cross dissolve. Now we double click it, and now you notice up in the viewer there's now a new tab. Okay, this is a special tab for the transition, and basically indicating that the transition has loaded or it's opened. So you can view and modify the transition settings up in here. Let me go ahead and just enlarge this for you so you can see better. Now there's tons of different parameters you can set in here. So first, let me talk about the properties that are common to all transitions. Then we will go over some effect-specific properties. So the timecode duration field, up here in the upper left corner. We touched on this before, and again, this is how you can set the duration just with timecode. If you want it longer than a second, which is the default, you can set it to 2 seconds or 23 seconds, whatever you prefer. I'll just leave it at 1 for now. But you can change that, and it'll auto-update in your timeline. So here, let me just go ahead and change that so you can see it auto-updating. Now watch, it auto-updates itself in the timeline and also up here in the editor.